Okay, Bean. This is a book called Giraffes Can't Dance, and it's about a giraffe named Gerald. But we're going to change Gerald's name to Sophie, because you have your little giraffe friend named Sophie. Sophie was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but her knees were awfully crooked and her legs were rather thin. She was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when she tried to run around, she buckled at the knees. Now every year in Africa they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year when the day arrived, poor Sophie felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, she was really very bad. The warthogs started waltzing and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Sophie swallowed bravely as she walked toward the floor, but the lions saw her coming and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Sophie," all the animals then sneered. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool," or "Oh, Sophie, you're so weird." Sophie simply froze up. She was rooted to the spot. "They're right," she thought. "I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot." So she crept off from the dance floor and she started walking home. She'd never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. Then she found a little clearing and she looked up at the sky. "The moon can be so beautiful," she whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me," coughed a cricket, who'd seen Sophie earlier on, "but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to." With that the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Sophie felt her body do the most amazing thing. Her hoofs had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. Her neck was gently swaying and her tail was swishing around. She threw her legs out sideways and she swung them everywhere. Then she did backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Sophie felt so wonderful, her mouth was open wide. "I'm dancing, yes, I'm dancing, I am dancing!" Sophie cried. Then one by one each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Sophie boogied on and watched her quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle, we must be in a dream. Sophie's the best dancer that we've ever seen." "How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Sophie, tell us how." But Sophie simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then she raised her head and looked up at the moon and stars above. "We all can dance," she said, "when we find music that we love."